There was a family of 4, and one day the young mom has 2 kids. They go to bed and she puts them to sleep, and the next morning she wakes up to find out that her husband left. And she wakes up and she sees that he's gone. She tries to make that phone call to say, "Where are you?" And she finds out that he no longer wants to be with her. And one day she has to make the choice that she's got to lift herself up to see her kids succeed. And she has to fight for what she wants. And she doesn't understand the purpose as to why her husband left and as to why she has to raise her kids on her own. It's like the example of a young boy that went to the doctor one day and he got the news that he had cancer. The family was devastated, crying and in tears, was wondering, why did God put this struggle? And for many years the kids battled with cancer, and one day him laying down in the bed, he looks at his parents and he says, "I think it's my time." The parents, weeping and crying, wonder, why did God do this? You see, there's so many more stories like that we find ourselves in. Sometimes we find ourselves struggling through financial things to where, why did God put this struggle in my life? Sometimes you may struggle with a child that may be rebellious. One day you may be that person that'll wake up to a phone call early in the morning saying you have a long-term disease. You may be the next person that may struggle with depression or suicidal thoughts. For a lot of us, life doesn't come easy. There's a lot of struggles that come with it. There's a lot of heartache, and sometimes we feel like, why did God put me on this earth if I'm going to struggle? And sometimes we go through struggles and we feel that people look down on us. One day you may end up in jail, or one day you may end up in the streets, or one day you may end up poor, and you think, boy, people look at me different. And the truth is that people will only criticize you and will only use you when it's necessary for them to use you. The Bible says in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 that God, before we were even created in the belly of our mom, He already knew us. He already knew what struggles we were going to go through. He already knew what we were going to face. He already knew who we were going to be. All God is telling you today is that He knows you. And whatever struggle you're facing today, know that God has a purpose behind it. See, if you come out of suicidal thoughts, if one day you beat cancer, if one day you come out free of jail, that's your purpose, is to go and tell people how God freed you, how God had a purpose specifically for you. Because there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with the same exact thing that you're struggling with. Right now you're struggling with financial struggles. And one day you'll beat that, and one day you'll be financially stable, and you'll be able to help out another family that is struggling financially. Remember that people are only temporary, but God's promises are always forever. God promised us that He knew us, and therefore He said, be courageous. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to face things. He said, be courageous. Wake up every morning knowing that whatever you're going through, one day there's going to be a purpose behind it. You will have a purpose. You will see the results. It may not be now, it may not be tomorrow, but just know that what you're going through, there are so many people out there waiting for you. You can be that solution for someone. You can be that help to someone who's in need, to someone who's hungry, to someone who just lost a loved one, and God sent you to be their angel.